Dry ice. In 1835, the French chemist Adrien Jean-Pierre Thilorier noticed that when he opened a container of liquid carbon dioxide, a solid ice that evaporates without melting had formed at the bottom. This solid form of CO2 would later become known as dry ice. Among its many uses, from refrigeration to theater smoke, dry ice made it possible for the long-term storage of specimens in cryobanks that help aspiring parents conceive children outside of traditional methods. My mother chose my biological father from the online catalog on a cryobank website. At the time he became an anonymous donor, he was in medical school. In the report from the cryobank, the staff called him a young George Clooney and the whole package, with looks and a charming personality. He gave me thick brows, long lashes, and dark brown hair. Through him, I also inherited his mother's singing voice. However, it turned out that the cryobank had missed some things about him. In elementary school, I developed an eye twitch, repetitive hand flexing, and impulsive deep breathing. When my mother and the mothers of my half-siblings reported to the cryobank that their children had been diagnosed with Tourette syndrome, the cryobank restricted my donor's donations. I asked my mother for the report about my donor from the cryobank. She printed it out at her office, and I flipped through it. On the second page was a questionnaire. My mother dug up a compact disc and inserted it into the music player in the living room. I lay on my back on the couch, listening to my donor's voice, reading his answers. A sense of self-worth, he said, when asked what advice he would give to his future children. People with a sense of worth have integrity because they don't need to misrepresent themselves or their abilities. But it all starts early. The recording halted as though it had slammed into a block of ice. I was struck by the irony. If my donor had reported his Tourette's, he would have been rejected by the cryobank. My half-siblings and I wouldn't exist, and so he misrepresented his abilities, or rather, his disabilities. I felt like Thilorier, opening a container and finding a new substance inside that defied everything I had known about how I came to be. But it all starts early. Those last words, a regret. My mother ejected the disc from the music player and returned it to its paper sleeve with the cryobank logo. My hands flapped, and I didn't stop them.